What's up, everybody? Peepo again, and today is going to be a review. And specifically, it's going to be a review of this traditional pocket. Yes, I know I can string traditionals. Why would I be doing a review on a traditional? This kind of goes along with the lines of the previous review that I did week 2-3 ago of the 10-minute traditional. And the idea of the 10-minute traditional was to have a removable, easily strung piece of traditional mesh. And so it was basically supposed to be a piece of traditional mesh. You're supposed to have your pretty much your piece of regular mesh, and you can string it up however you want. Real easy, just one solid piece, and you string it up. That's how mesh works. Well, the idea behind a 10-minute trad was to be able to do that, but with a traditional, and I already kind of voiced my opinion on how I feel about that sort of thing, how I kind of feel that it somewhat takes away from the idea of making the pocket yourself, making it your own, having trust in the pocket, and being able to adjust it yourself, so on and so forth. I could go on and on and on about why I feel you should string your own. But this idea gets the traditional into a player's hands and allows them to string up a traditional, for the most part, themselves, and then be able to use a trad in their stick. Now, this one is actually made by a company that's been around a little bit longer than 10-minute trad. Not exactly sure of their established date, but they are called Turtle Mesh. And, well, this is Turtle Mesh from traditionalnetting.com. And they are, I believe, at least one of them is native, or I believe he should be part of the Iroquois nations, but if I'm completely wrong, disregard that statement. But it was actually one of the characters from your probably one of your favorite movies if you're a lacrosse player. It is Crooked Arrows. He's actually one of the guys that does this is actually one of the characters from that movie. So it's actually kind of fun to learn little tidbits like that. But so moving into the actual pocket itself, I went with the 8 diamond selection. They offer 6, 7, and 8 diamond trads. They do not offer pitas or anything like that. And personally, I don't really feel that you really need a pita or a trad X or any of the crazy fancy stuff that other companies offer, or even 10-minute trad offers, because let's face it, the more complicated it is, the more difficult it is to maintain and or just keep it together. So they only do your classic traditionals. They actually call them your premium traditional shell. It actually says it right there. And it's supposed to signify a turtle shell, and so it kind of makes sense. So the pocket, if you will, actually comes in a flat bag. It comes folded over on itself in half, so it folds down the very middle of this center track, and it's just in a plastic bag, much like a piece of mesh, or like East Coast Mesh, Throne, all of them comes in just folded over on itself, half and half, not end to end. And it does not come with sidewalls, it does not come with your top string, and it doesn't come with shooters. It's just a piece of mesh, and which kind of makes sense. You want to be able to just kind of customize it yourself. But so this traditional pocket came with the strings pre-twisted here for your sidewall installation. There was no slack. I opened it up and I just kind of took it in my hands. I was like, this feels kind of tight. And I thought that it wasn't going to really form to the head very well. Just kind of a disclaimer. I did initially test this in a wider head. It was actually a Proton Plus, one of my 2 that I still own. and it didn't quite feel right in that because the leathers are actually pre-strung at the width that they need to be. So it's like all of them are the same distance apart as this center one. Just kind of doesn't look like it because of the angle of the pocket. But so comes pre-strung, the leathers were already kind of bit into by the string, and that was something that I really wanted to see from 10 Minute Trad, and I didn't really see it. It just kind of looked thrown together, and I'm going to try and move away from comparing the two, but it's kind of hard not to when it's the only other option to talk about. But so it had the leathers already bitten into by the string. The spacing of the diamonds was one of the first things that I noticed, is that they were well spaced. There was no extra here and there. All the diamonds were as close as you could probably get to perfect size, and it felt like it had already been in a head, but I didn't see any signs of the leathers or the strings having that sort of wear and tear. But so the leathers were your basic Gimalax leathers. They actually advertise that's the only thing they use is their Gimalax leathers. And they do this interesting thing up here at the top where they actually use zip ties to hold the leathers together, which I don't really agree with, but I have seen it a lot in the past by your more conventional, traditional stringers, and it works out. There was no actual trail or leading ends to it. There, as you can see, like right here, it was knotted at the bottom, but I didn't really like that idea. It was actually knotted up right here, and it looked good. I'll give them that, but I didn't really like it, so I took it down through that last plastic hole in the head, and it was actually very easy to string this up. I did the top string, very simple, same way that you would do a 10-minute trad, and the leathers it didn't feel like the outer leathers I had to pull out further or anything along that line. The actual pocket, I actually just kind of laid it flat on the head and lined up my sidewall configuration. I lined it up to where I wanted it to be, so the diamonds would actually connect where I wanted them to, and it actually worked out pretty well. I pretty much just made the casting points how you would do it if you were stringing up a traditional yourself, and I actually just fed the leathers in, found more or less the depth that I wanted, which was actually a little bit shallower than it is right now. So it's getting there. I've been breaking it in for the last 2 days, and it's actually been getting pretty close to exactly where I would want it. And right now it's about 3/4 of the ball depth, and it was initially about a half. And as I was breaking in, you could see the leathers getting bit even further into by the string, and it actually, because I found the depth of all 4 leathers that I wanted, which was the 2 at the very biggest depth that I wanted, the outers I wanted about half, which ended up being perfect. I didn't have to adjust anything when it came to the actual cross lace. I installed the sidewall, installed the top, installed the leathers, redid this string right here after I found my depth, and then I just started pounding it in, started wall balling and everything with it, and it turned out really nice. And then I threw in the shooters because I had found the shape that I wanted, and I threw in the shooters, and it turned out really nice. They actually do another thing that I don't really agree with, because simply I don't feel the leathers will last as long as they really should, is that they actually cut holes in the bottom here and feed through and then knot off, which is fine considering I did not have to adjust the cross lace at all. I didn't have to redo any knots or anything like that except for this bottom one, because that's just my personal preference. And I just left the tops. I left the zip ties at the top and left them there just because I wanted to show you guys how they do it. Here and there, I feel that they could change up how they do some of the knots, but overall, I have no complaints about this piece of traditional mesh, and it breaks in nicely. I'm pretty sure that once I really actually break it in, put water on it and everything, I haven't done that yet. I haven't needed to, but once I feel that I need to start doing that, I'm sure it'll break in even better. And the thing is, at the depth that I have it strung, there's actually a lot of room for break-in down here at the bottom. So that's actually really nice to see that there's a little bit of, there's room to improve the pocket in case I need to. And because it's Gimalax leathers, I have confidence in them. I've rarely had Gimalax leathers fail on me, so I have a lot of confidence in this pocket. And if I was not who I am, being able to string traditionals, if I lost the dexterity in my hands to really string a traditional how I do right now, I would totally use this. I would totally just go ahead and buy one of these. I feel that the quality of stringing is very high. I would actually like to see these guys string up an actual head without doing one of these and see how it looks. But they have a great number of tips and tricks and stuff on their website. Their customer service is really quick. I got this maybe a max of 5 days after I ordered it. They actually let me know that it was going to be shipped. I don't know if they're going to do that with everybody, because I let them know that I had bought it just so that they would know that I'm going to do something with it. And stringing time-wise, it was actually close to 15 minutes. For an inexperienced person, it will probably be right around 20 to 25, which is your average dedicated person taking their time on a mesh pocket. So that's not too bad. That's not bad at all. And considering that a lot of stringers that I know, it takes them multiple hours to actually string a traditional, that's a decent improvement for anybody that doesn't want to have to go through all the hassle of stringing a traditional. But so all in all, I have to give this 2 big thumbs up. I'm not going to give it numbers because I'm trying to move away from that whole thing. But if you want to string up a traditional, you want to test out a traditional, but you don't want to take the time, or you don't know anybody that can really string one, just take your time, get one of these. I'll actually put the link in the description to their website. And this traditional pocket is really nice, really solid. I don't believe they have a whole lot of color options just yet, but I'm sure if you guys start buying and so on and so forth, I'm sure their color options will increase. But me personally, I don't like a whole lot of color. I do have 1 or 2 traditionals that are multiple colors, but I'll take an all white or all white with brown leathers any day. So I hope you guys like this. I really enjoy this pocket, and I'm probably going to have more pictures of it as it breaks in a little more. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope this helps you realize that there is more than just one option out there when it comes to getting a traditional. And if you really want, go give them a follow. They do have an Instagram. It is kind of, I believe it's set to private, but in my opinion, that's actually kind of a good idea because it keeps quality of follower assurance, I guess you could say. But that's my 2 cents, or at least maybe 50 cents on this product. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you got a little bit something out of it, and look forward to more reviews, more Trad Method Mondays, and thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys later.